The maintenance bay of the Starforge station hummed with the usual cacophony of repairs and refueling. Plasma welders sparked against durasteel hulls while loading mechs moved cargo with mechanical precision. In this organized chaos, pilot Adnan Hassan sat cross-legged on the deck, completely absorbed in something far more important than the multi-billion credit starships surrounding him. Before him, a small dragon hatchling no larger than a house cat struggled to move across the smooth metal floor. Its left wing hung at an awkward angle, clearly malformed from birth, while its right hind leg dragged uselessly behind its compact body. The creature's scales shimmered with an iridescent blue-green that would have been beautiful, if not for the obvious pain in its large amber eyes. "Come on, little one," Adnan whispered, his calloused hands gentle as he encouraged the hatchling forward. "You can do it." The dragon, barely 3 weeks old according to its medical chart, let out a soft chirp of frustration. Its species, the Draconians, were known throughout the Federation for their pride and aerial prowess. To see one so young already marked by disability was heartbreaking, even for the station's medical staff who had recommended euthanasia. Adnan had other plans. From his toolkit, he produced a collection of lightweight polymer strips and micro-servos salvaged from decommissioned fighter craft. With the patience of someone accustomed to precision work, he began fashioning a small harness around the hatchling's torso. "These won't make you fly," he explained to the creature as if it could understand standard galactic. "But they'll help you walk properly, and walking is the first step to running, right?" The hatchling tilted its head, watching with intelligent eyes as Adnan's scarred fingers worked. The human's hands bore the marks of his profession: burns from plasma conduits, cuts from sharp metal, and the telltale calluses of someone who worked with machinery daily. Yet those same hands moved with surprising delicacy around the fragile creature. Unknown to either of them, Admiral Kinza Veltar of the Draconian Imperial Fleet stood in the observation deck 3 levels above, her reptilian features unreadable as she watched the scene unfold through the transparent aluminum viewport. Kinza had arrived at Starforge Station for a routine inspection, but reports of a defective hatchling from one of her colony worlds had reached her ears. Draconian society had little tolerance for weakness. Disabled offspring were typically culled to maintain the genetic integrity of their warrior race. She had come to personally oversee the creature's disposal. Instead, she found herself witnessing something unprecedented. Adnan had finished the basic framework of his contraption and was now carefully sliding the hatchling's useless leg into a mechanical brace. The device was crude but functional, using tiny hydraulics to simulate normal movement patterns. "There we go," Adnan said, sitting back on his heels. "Give it a try." The hatchling took a tentative step forward. The brace whirred softly, providing support and stability. Another step, then another. For the first time in its short life, the creature walked without stumbling. A sound escaped the hatchling that Kinza had never heard from her people, pure, unbridled joy. It began to move in a circle, faster and faster, its tail whipping excitedly as it experienced true mobility. Adnan laughed, a sound that echoed through the maintenance bay. "Look at you go. You're like a little racing speeder." But the human wasn't finished. From another section of his toolkit, he produced a small anti-gravity generator, no bigger than a marble. It was military-grade equipment, worth more than most beings made in a year, yet he attached it without hesitation to the harness over the hatchling's damaged wing. "Flying might be out of the question," he said, adjusting the generator's settings. "But gliding? That we can work with." The hatchling felt the change immediately. The dead weight of its malformed wing was suddenly neutralized, balanced by the gentle repulsion field. It spread both wings experimentally and, for a moment, achieved something its people would have thought impossible: lift. Only a few centimeters off the ground, only for a few seconds, but it was flight nonetheless. Admiral Kinza's breath caught in her throat. In Draconian culture, the ability to fly was more than transportation. It was the essence of their identity, their connection to their ancestors and their gods. To witness a disabled hatchling achieve even this mockery of flight was profound. Below, Adnan was setting up a simple obstacle course using spare parts and cargo containers. "Let's see what you can really do," he challenged gently. The hatchling rose to meet that challenge with typical Draconian determination. It navigated the course with growing confidence, each success building upon the last. Where it couldn't walk, the brace compensated. Where it couldn't fly, the anti-gravity generator provided assistance. And where neither technology could help, the creature's own indomitable will carried it forward. Incredible, Kinza whispered to herself, her warrior's heart recognizing the courage below. She had come here expecting to find weakness that needed culling. Instead, she had discovered something her people had forgotten in their pursuit of perfection, that strength could take many forms, and that sometimes the most powerful warriors were forged not despite their limitations, but because of them. The hatchling completed its final lap and collapsed in exhaustion, its small chest heaving but its eyes bright with accomplishment. Adnan scooped it up carefully, cradling it against his chest. "You did amazing," he murmured. "Tomorrow we'll work on endurance, and maybe next week we can start on some proper aerial maneuvers." Admiral Kinza straightened her uniform and made a decision that would reverberate through the Federation for years to come. She activated her communicator with a sharp click. "This is Admiral Veltar to Station Command. I'm officially adopting Hatchling designation XK7 under Imperial Decree 247. Furthermore, I'm recommending human pilot Adnan Hassan for immediate induction into the Imperial Engineering Corps, with full honors." She paused, watching as Adnan settled the sleeping hatchling into a nest of soft blankets he had prepared. "And Station Command, I want every disabled draconian hatchling in the sector brought here immediately. If one human can teach us that our definition of strength needs expanding, then perhaps it's time we learned what else we've been throwing away." As Kinza made her way down to the maintenance bay, she reflected on an old human saying she had recently learned. It's not the size of the dragon in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dragon. Looking at the small hatchling sleeping peacefully in its improvised nest, surrounded by the tools and compassion of a human who saw potential where others saw only disability, Admiral Kinza finally understood what it meant. Sometimes, the greatest victories came not from soaring highest but from simply learning to take that first impossible step.